Hi everybody, it's Kerry from Mindful Moves, and today we talk about lifestyle choices and behaviours. This comes out of my course, Concentration, and this course is put together for parents and teachers to better understand children, and when we see the symptom of a lack of concentration, to ask what is the cause and why am I seeing it. So there are many teachers reaching out to me lately and talking to me about the behaviours they're seeing coming up in their class as they head into a time where reports are not due and they're having to liaise and to counsel parents as to how we can best support kids. Many of the things that we often also have coming up with the behaviours are these children who are battling with concentration. And so it's absolutely important to, through this course, realise that we as the teacher and the parent are not powerless and victims of what is going on. And I think that's the message I really want to get out to parents and teachers through today's little video, is to understand there is so much that we can do, and there is definitely power to change and help and support these children. And so starting with today, what we want to realize is that children thrive when there is routine. The reason for this is I as an adult can figure out where I'm in time and space because I've got my watch on my hand, I've got the calendar on my board, I've put together, or I've agreed to certain appointments, so the dentist appointment this afternoon. I know that every week I've got a staff meeting, let's say on the Monday, and so in my mind I have prepared this time going forward and I've mapped it out, and of course as I look to my watch I can prepare myself mentally, emotionally and physically for what needs to take place in the moments to come. Children don't have this sense, they have only now. I love it when you talk to little kids, they actually have yesterday, today and tomorrow, and we know that yesterday pertains to the past, anything that happened in the past. Today is anything happening currently, and tomorrow could be next week, could be tomorrow, could be in 2 weeks' time. But of course this is them trying to understand past, present and future. When we have a routine, we really assist in helping them figure out where they're in time and space. And so what does a routine do? A routine has certain things that happen on a daily basis. And as I move through these actions, being more right-brained at this time, most of our children are up until the age of 7, I can map out where I'm at, and I can begin to prepare emotionally, mentally and physically for the things that usually come next. Remember, children don't like the unknown, and neither do we as adults. However, we cheat the system so much more when we are able to, as I say, look at our phone, look at our watch, see where we're at right now, and then we are able to know what's coming up ahead at our 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and as I say, ready ourselves for what's expected of us. So let's just see, so routines are absolute key. It really helps our children feel safe. It helps our children in terms of anxiety, and we can see there why, because they can predict what is going to happen. Not only can they begin to predict what's going to happen as to where they are in their daily routine, but they can prepare themselves emotionally and adjust their emotions accordingly. They know where they are in time as young children, and as I just said, it's because they can't read the time, so these actions and events allow them to anchor themselves within time and space. We want to let them know that they can then see what is expected of them for these up and coming events, and so they're going to again have less anxiety because, as I mentioned, they can begin to adjust and self-regulate. This also, what does it mean for us as parents and teachers? If they've got this and we're seeing less anxiety, we are going to most definitely have fewer meltdowns. It also teaches your children how to schedule and plan for themselves. It also can strengthen the bond between the adult and child, especially when we're in a space where we can talk also with them about events that are coming up, especially if it's something that isn't within the daily routine. As we talk them through what might happen and we allow the space to consider all the outcomes, we create a space where we can bond and really connect with our children. It supports them in developing self-confidence and becoming more independent. It also creates constructive habits and it helps them to remember important things that stand out in their day. And so if they've got a daily routine that they move through every day, they're ticking off on their checklist in their mind what they're going through. When something different or outstanding, good or bad, has happened, it will go, but that was different. And I'm going to get in the car and tell Mom, oh, you won't know what happened today. Today, the Snake City came, for instance, to visit our school. I had a really upsetting thing happen that I want to talk to you about. But of course, creating the sense of what is the same and allowing for these things that are different to stand out also creates an awareness within the child that this was different than usual. It allows the child also to get excited about things ahead as we speak about them and prepare them for it and begin to imagine the exciting things to come. It also offers stability during times of change or stress. And so yes, one thing I absolutely loved when teaching was when children were really having a hard time, them coming to school and being able to experience a bit of the sameness for the school routine and what's expected of them at school allowed them to know that I can free up my emotional space to deal with the things that I need to right now, because the things that are in place I don't need to stress about, I don't need to worry about, I don't need to become anxious or worried I'm going to be thrown off guard there. And so it allows me to have more energy, more mental space, more emotional space for the change that is busy happening in my life. So as we look at lifestyles, I think we also need to remember as parents that we can begin to expect our children to partake within the family a little bit more. And as we give them also roles and responsibilities and chores to do, it isn't about punishing or disciplining, but it's about allowing them to see that they add value to this family unit in which they exist. And so yes, another really important thing when we talk lifestyle choices and behaviour, we want to offer them the responsibility to test themselves out and try new things so that as they grow and develop, they can become aware that they too are developing in terms of the ability to do more and more things and become more and more independent. So this I just put out there. We've got 2 to 3 years old. They can make their bed. Mom, is it going to be perfect? Definitely not. Is it going to bug you? Probably. And when they go off to school, you might want to fix it. But let them try, make their bed. They can pick up their toys and books. They can put laundry in a wash basket. They can help feed pets. They can wipe up their mess. They can dust using socks on their hand. Beautiful activity, especially as they have socks on 2 hands and we get bilateral movements coming in. 4 to 5, they can set and clear a table, load the dishwasher, empty silverware from a dishwasher, match socks and fold. They can put away laundry, straighten the room, and get the newspaper or mail. Sorry, busy house today. Busy workspace. 6 to 8 years old, we got empty the dishwasher, clean bathroom sinks and counters, sort laundry by colours, help pack school lunches, pull weeds and rake leaves, water plants, collect rubbish from bins. So again, will this be done perfectly? No. Is it going to bug you? Yes. Are you prepared to do it for the benefit of the child in order to develop their self-esteem? 9 to 11, clean toilets. Sure. Yes, and they can. So take rubbish out, vacuum, mop floors, mow the grass, food preparation, and yes, they can walk their dogs. And then as they get 12 and older, we want to see, can they babysit their siblings? Are they able to wash windows, iron, clean interior and exterior cars, cook simple meals, do laundry, clean the fridge, and even make a grocery list? And while we allow these children to try these things, we start teaching them and giving them the message that they are capable. We've got to remember every way in which we interact and give our child feedback through our response to them and our actions and behaviours, we are letting them know a certain message. So when we don't let them do these things, we actually give them the damaging message saying, well, you can't do it, so don't try. Rather let mom do it. You can't do it perfect enough. You can't do it well enough. The way in which you made the bed was unacceptable. And so we've got to be very careful as they try and reach out and try and add to the family unit. We need to support them and say, well done, thank you, I so appreciated that. So something else, I found this on whatmotherslove.com, and I thought this was brilliant because so often we don't know if we are having our children sleep enough. So just there to take note of, and we see how children start with really little, needing not lots of naps, and then about 4 to 5 years should be sleeping 10 to 13 hours a night with one nap. 12 to 6, we've got 9 to 12 hours, so still quite a lot of sleep needed in this time space here, with no naps. 13 to 18, 8 to 10 hours, still a lot of sleep, a lot of downtime, because this is when we are processing everything that we've learned. This is when we're going into delta and theta brainwaves, and it's in delta and theta brainwaves that children's bodies repair themselves and heal as well. So really important to make sure your children are getting enough sleep, especially as they're growing and developing. You know, we tend to get to 12, 13 teenage years and we slack off with this. And as I say, it's very important to realize what sleep does, and a child being able to go into all these sleep cycles. So looking at your child's behavior, spoke about this on the live today. So we want to understand behavior so we can support the child. So often we attack the behavior and tell the child the behavior is inappropriate, but the behavior is there because it's trying to bring light to a bigger thing going on, a feeling of being overwhelmed, unloved, unaccepted, rejected, frustration, not having the resources needed to cope with the stress they're experiencing. And so when we look at these, we begin to try and understand where is it that they're coming from and what is this child trying to communicate through behavior, because this is the way in which the body naturally communicates, especially when they don't have the words. So irritability, we could see it could be tiredness, could be frustration, could be being overwhelmed, could be that they feel stuck and don't have the resources to move forward. As our kids go into teenage years and there's a lot of emotional and hormonal changes, we see a lot of irritability. A lot of this is also coming from them trying to figure out and gain a sense of balance within a changing system, being their body, being the hormones, being their school environment with other people experiencing the same emotions, trying to figure out where they fit in it. So irritability, a big one, as I say, especially in our teenage years. And we really want to ask, are they feeling overwhelmed? Are they feeling frustrated? Why am I seeing this sense of irritability? Frustration usually shows us that they're feeling stuck and that they don't know how to move forward, or they can't, or they haven't experienced success in a certain area yet. Anger, this can be that a line has been crossed. Somebody's rights have been infringed on. And so again, these are just the emotions and what they could mean, or the behavior and what they could mean. It's for us then to challenge if what it's pointing to is really truthful or not. So I spoke about this morning on my live, feelings are pointing us to things that are either in line with a belief that we have or a core value, or against a core value or belief that we have. They are not the be-all or the end-all, they are merely the indicator. And so it's so dangerous when people start saying, I am depressed, I am sad, because they are taking on a feeling and taking it on as a persona or as a sense of their identity. And so really encourage your youngsters to say, I am feeling depressed, I'm feeling sad, that there is this separation between the feeling and the truth, and that we can then take what it's pinpointing to and ask, if a line has definitely been crossed, or if it's a misunderstanding, because we might not need this anger if what it is pinpointing to isn't in all honesty the truth of the event or situation. Clinginess, so feeling insecure, unable to face the world alone. Stubborn, and I see a lot of youngsters and parents complaining about children being stubborn. They feel like they're not in control. And so they'll dig their heels in to try and gain control of the situation, even if it means not eating my peas. If that's the only thing they got control of, that they feel they have control of, they are absolutely going to push back if they feel like they have lost control in their situation. Children being defined, so doing whatever it takes to be seen or heard. So please, that defiance is such an attention-seeking emotion or behavior. We want to address what's going on, as I say, behind each of these, and defiance is a big one. Manipulation, believing that they're not good enough to get what they want, so needing to be deceitful or manipulate what's happening in order to get what we want. You know, if I feel like I get what I need, because it's also a difference between need and want, isn't there? But if I feel satisfied and then my needs are met, I'm not going to need to manipulate or be deceitful in my behavior in order to get somebody to meet me where I'm at. However, if I'm not feeling like I'm getting what I need and want, and I'm feeling like I'm not heard, then yes, I'm absolutely going to become a bit deceitful in trying to see and look after myself. Acting cute or younger than. So I had a lot of this when I taught the younger grades, especially when we wanted them to start showing a sense of growth to go into grade 1. So this is behavior. This behavior might get attention at home. They might be a younger sibling. They might be seen as the cute one, and so they feel they have to act this way to be seen or heard. Sometimes it's also about being a bit stuck in wanting to be younger. So just watch that one a bit. Bossiness, trying to take control, trying to be the leader or figure out how to lead. And then although all behaviors have a reason, be careful not to reward it through attention, and in so doing conditioning your child to use this behavior. Remember, each behavior comes with a need and a want or something that needs to be communicated. And so absolutely, sometimes we need to teach the child that this behavior, especially these ones that we've gone through, is not appropriate. It will not get you the response you really are after. But here are ways and means to reach out in appropriate, healthy ways so that people will definitely understand where you're coming from and be able to assist you in getting the help that you really do need. So in terms of what we do at Mindful Moves, we do profiling sessions. I was sharing this again with parents and teachers yesterday. If you do this process, you will get so much information as to how and why your child is reacting and responding to you and life in the way that they do. We look at how they learn under stress. We look at their learning profile and how they're limited or blocked under stress in their thinking. But we also look at personality, because for each personality type we want to understand, how does this personality look when they're thriving? How does this personality look when they're stressed? So often we ask, what is going on with this teenager? I don't recognize my child anymore. Where did this depression come from? It's so sad, but we hear the rise in teenage and suicides, and we stand back and we go, but that child never seemed depressed or seemed not to be coping. And as I say, it's absolutely in this profiling session that we look at each of these personalities and we say, how is this personality presenting under stress? Because it's not always going to come in our little packaged idea of what is stress and what is depression and what is anxiety. Because as I say, each person responds differently and interacts differently under stress. And so yes, this is the work that we're doing in profiling sessions. And we give this toolkit, this manual, over to the parents, to the teachers, to the support system, so they can be aware when each unique personality, each unique child is coping and what it's going to look like for them under stress. We go further and we also look at what motivates each personality type and what they're trying to avoid. And once we have those two in place, we can say, in what way is this personality type's fear being triggered? Remember, our emotions are so abstract. It's like becoming a bit of a detective. But we as parents and teachers are really called to this. We are these children's support team. And when we are ill-equipped for this, we do them an injustice. So I just put this up. We look at each personality type here. We see type 1 gets angry, frustrated, and can be hypersensitive. So just seeing how they're going to maybe be their misbehaviors, how each of them might come out. Type 2, these children, their misbehaviors might include coming across as proud or boastful, but also these children come across as being needy. Type 3 becomes secretive and deceitful, and was talking with a parent the other day, and she said, my child's a teenager, and all of a sudden I'm seeing a lot of this, and I feel like I don't know my child anymore. And I had to say, but if you look at this personality type, it's in line. And if you're seeing this, she's under immense stress. You absolutely need to jump in. Now, type 4 can become jealous and can battle very much so with depression and melancholy. Type 5 becomes extremely greedy, wanting material things, and emotionally stingy. Type 5 also tends to become, and I didn't write it there, but they tend to become a bit paranoid and scatterbrain, and they tend to feel like everybody's against them. Type 6, panicky, anxiety levels through the roof, fearful, anxious about so much. Type 7, funny enough, becomes gluttonous, so they comfort eat, tends to scheme. We have cowardice and quite a lot of recklessness, bungee jumping. This type loves all these thrill sports, so we see the sense of recklessness under stress. Type 8, here we've got our defiant little personality, becomes incredibly argumentative and can be shameless and revengeful. Often when I hear of a child being defiant, yes, we look at what reflexes are there, because yes, we see this when reflexes such as the fear paralysis and Moro reflex is still active. But we also then look in our work, if they're a number 8, what does that mean? Number 8s are beautiful leaders in the right place, but under stress, they push back very much so. And number 9s become lazy and lethargic. They tend to avoid, they procrastinate. And of course we go, this is a lazy person, this is a, why are they always doing nothing? Why are they always on the couch? Why are they are a type 9 perhaps under immense stress. And so yes, so often as parents and teachers we have this sense that something is wrong, that something's off, but we don't know always how to read these, and that is absolutely why I want to put this out there today. Please don't, yes, there's some behaviors that absolutely are dangerous, disrespectful, inappropriate, and straight away need to be stopped. But when we address the behavior and not the need behind the behavior, we give these children a message that they're unheard, unloved, not good enough, unacceptable, that they're a disappointment. And these we cannot have, because this is where we have the shift or the rift in this relationship, the relationship between mom and child, where mom is not on my side, or dad is not on my side, or teachers are not on my side anymore. I'm alone in the corner. And that's absolutely not the message that children who are displaying huge behavioral problems need. They need to know more than anything that they're loved for who they are, but there's better ways to behave. They're valued for who they are, but it's inappropriate to do certain things. They are seen and they're respected and they are wanted. And I think if they get that message, we will see many of these behaviors are actually not even needed anymore. And so please, let's use these as they should be used. Let's not attack only the behavior. Let's ask, why am I seeing this? And as I say, please, this is my life's work. If you feel like you're going and experiencing some of the stuff, but you are stuck or stumped as how to move forward, you know that you as the parent and the teacher shouldn't be reacting to the behavior, but it's a trigger for you, and you're getting yourself in a space that is not conducive to a positive, good, supportive relationship for your teenage child, for instance, going forward, or for your child. Talking to the teacher the other day, I just said to her, if you don't stop these behaviors for this child, he's going to end up eventually being told he needs medication, because the behaviors that you're saying are behaviors that are getting put on checklists. And as you're talking to me, I'm seeing the need behind the behavior to be seen, to be heard, to be helped because there's this huge sense of overwhelming or being overwhelmed and not able to cope. And we need to address that because no amount of medication is going to teach life skills. And this is the dirty work. This is where we need to pull up our sleeves and get our elbows dirty, get our hands dirty, because this is the way in which our children are calling for our help. So I hope that this has opened your eyes a bit more. If it hasn't answered your question, I hope that it has made you curious as to how it is your child or your pupil might be behaving and what it might mean. Because if you're curious, you won't stop until you've found the answer. And that's what we're called to do as parents and teachers. We are absolutely called to intervene, support, and assist where we can so that our children can develop life skills that ready them for their purpose in life. So have a good day, and we'll talk again soon.